Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. My name is Hunter, and looking at today's weather forecast, we have more severe weather and a severe weather outbreak to look at here going through today and into your Friday time frame, followed by a strong cool down for the middle of March standards as we go into this weekend and next week. We'll be diving into those details in today's weather forecast. If you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns across the country, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and the thumbs up button, the like button. It helps out more than you know. And just a forewarning, folks, there are thunderstorms ongoing out my window here this morning. So if you hear a rumble of thunder, that's just some thunderstorms ongoing. I live in northern Illinois. It's very noisy here this morning with our thunderstorms. Now, going back to yesterday on Wednesday, the 13th of March, man, was it a day across the Central Plains. It did come back alive with severe weather across northeast Kansas. We had 3 tornado reports and a lot of very large hailstorms across Kansas into Missouri. We had 79 hail reports, 9 of those being significant here, and just showing you some of the large hail reports that we were seeing yesterday. Look at this, all the way from ping pong ball size and all the way up here to the highlighted area. Alma, Kansas had a softball size hailstone at 4 inches in diameter. That was the largest hailstone recorded on your Wednesday, March 13th time frame. And that just shows you the power and nature of these storms. So looking here at the synoptic setup for storms today, we have a stationary boundary setting up from the Midwest into the upper Ohio River Valley here, the lower lakes region as we go into today. South of that boundary and ahead of our cold front advancing across the Great Plains, that will be the area of concern for more severe storms going into today. Here is the warm sector. These are your surface dew point temperatures. And you can see those 60-degree dew points reaching all the way up into central Illinois, central and northern Indiana, even western Ohio today, even upper 60, 70-degree dew points down here further to the south toward the mid-south and the lower Mississippi Valley. And with that in mind, the reservoir of instability will be plentiful across this region here. You can see the yellows, oranges, reds, purples. That indicates 2,000 or more of joules per kilogram of instability to work with here. So the Storm Prediction Center does have their day one outlook out for today, and it has a large slight risk in yellow all the way up here into western and central Ohio, through Indiana and Illinois. That stretches down through the mid-south and all the way south here towards the Dallas-Fort Worth area in North Texas. Within this area, there's an orange area here into southern Missouri, northern and northwestern Arkansas there, into eastern portions of Oklahoma. That is an enhanced risk of severe weather, a level 3 out of 5 on the scale. And there's a large zone here with more very large hailstones, much like we saw on Wednesday. We could be seeing those same hail reports again coming out of these areas from the Ohio River Valley back through portions of the Midwest and down into the mid-south, southern plains region as we go through today. And the tornado threat, I think, looks a little bit more appreciable today, especially across southern Missouri, northern and northwestern Arkansas, especially around the Little Rock area, and then getting back there toward portions of southeastern Oklahoma with a 10% shading in the yellow for tornado potential, and then the damaging winds as these storms start to grow upscale overnight, pushing towards the Ohio and Tennessee River valleys. Let's go through the timing and show you when these storms will be moving through your area. And you can see this morning ongoing showers and storms, like I said, across northern Illinois. Right outside my window, we're already seeing some thunder and seeing some lightning out there. Looking here at these storms right now across the mid-south this morning, not seeing much of activity, but look at this blossom here. Very concerning. Peak of the heating of the day, eastern portions of Oklahoma, supercell thunderstorms exploding off the cold front here. These could be the ones to produce those tornadoes and very large hailstones, 2, 3, even 4-inch diameter hailstones, again possible with our instability reservoir down here this afternoon. Those storms will have a tendency to grow up in coverage and intensity as we go in towards the evening hours into what we call an MCS, a mesoscale convective system, as they cross through the Little Rock area and then up here towards, say, Paducah, Kentucky through the evening hours, producing all modes of severe weather, damaging winds, large to very large hail, and potentially some tornadoes after dark. And then as we go into early Friday morning, That MCS here will be moving through Tennessee, through northern Alabama, northern Mississippi, and down here into portions of southern Arkansas and northern Louisiana during your early morning commute on Friday. Looking at the rainfall potential with these storms, very efficient rainfall producers they will be. A corridor up here from Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, and southern lower Michigan could be seeing 1 to 3 inches worth of rain there. Down here across the southern side into eastern portions of Oklahoma, into Arkansas, western and middle Tennessee, northern portions of Mississippi and Alabama. Those areas, another 1 to 3, perhaps 4 inches of rain going through your Friday morning commute. Looking at that, there is a potential for some flash flooding. So a lot of this rainfall could be coming down in a short amount of time. So we are concerned, especially centered around Arkansas, on our flash flooding risk here. So the Little Rock area, not only seeing some significant severe weather, but also some significant weather in the form of flash flooding potential going through your Friday morning commute. Then we go into Friday tomorrow. The cold front advancing further to the south and east. Ahead of that, warm, moist, and unstable air does continue across the Gulf Coast from Texas all the way through portions of Dixie Alley and into the southeast, and those dew points are well into the 60s again tomorrow, so and the instability values will be there to support more severe weather. The strongest instability will be down here toward the Rio Grande Valley into south central Texas around the Austin, San Antonio region, stretching over there toward Houston. And that is the main area of concern with that slight risk for severe weather in south central Texas as we go into Friday, but still a marginal risk across Dixie Alley here, getting into Georgia, the western Carolinas, eastern Tennessee as we go into Friday time frame. But we are really concerned with that damaging hail potential around Austin here, Victoria, the San Antonio region into south central Texas. More of those 2, 3, even 4-inch diameter hailstones will be possible there on Friday, and a couple areas of concern for tornado potential, a 2% shading across that region in south central Texas on Friday, and a 2% shading across portions of South Carolina into Georgia on Friday as well. Looking at the timing, Friday morning commute, ongoing MCS here starting to weaken as that low-level jet starts to weaken as it moves across the southeast. More storms back here into East Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, I-35 on east. Those storms will move into Louisiana, so Alexandria, getting into Baton Rouge, Shreveport, and Lake Charles. We'll start to watch for severe weather Friday afternoon there. More supercells. These could be the ones to produce tornadoes, but also even some very large, giant hailstones across portions of the Austin, San Antonio region down here as well into Victoria, Texas, Friday afternoon with that instability. And look at that, folks. The HRRR model at 06Z showing some white there into the Rio Grande Valley perhaps. We could be talking about potentially some really big hail even into the evening hours with these supercells down into south central Texas. They also will be moving over the same areas, so not just 1 or 2 rounds, maybe 3 rounds of storms across the Dixie Alley into the portions of coastal Texas Friday into Saturday time frame. So 1 to 3 inches of rain once more down here going into the start of the weekend, and that could lead to more flash flooding potential Friday into Saturday time frame. Looking at Saturday here, that cold front, the first one will move down to the Gulf Coast, ending our severe weather threat here as we go into the weekend, but a new cold front up here across the north into the northern high plains toward the Dakotas there in Montana, getting into the upper Midwest, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and northern Iowa. That cold front will be advancing southward, reinforcing a shot of some much colder air into the weekend. This is your 500 millibar height anomaly map, and notice the blues here. We're starting to see that across the upper Midwest, the upper Great Lakes region on Saturday. That strengthens, that pushes south into the Ohio River Valley, the Midwest, and Great Lakes on Sunday, and then eastward. And look at the green showing up here across the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast here into early next week on Monday the 18th, and that does signify some active weather in the form of maybe some snowfall across portions of the Great Lakes with the cold air, but a lot colder of air here behind that cold front early next week. Let's look at our temperature anomalies for the weekend. There's the cold air, southern Canada, so Saskatchewan, Manitoba, western Ontario, maybe up here to the upper Midwest later on Sunday time frame. Still warm though across the east, the eastern seaboard, going through much of the weekend with our temperature anomalies. But then a major flip into early next week with that trough coming in, bringing maybe some snow showers to the Great Lakes region here. Not that big of a deal in the form of accumulation across that region, but we are definitely seeing some real cold air for the middle of March standards across the eastern 2/3 of the country. And looking at that cold air, here's your high temperatures on Saturday afternoon. And you can see here, those below freezing temperatures will mainly be into Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Western Ontario, and maybe northern portions of Minnesota Saturday afternoon. Still mild to the south as the cold front hasn't reached there, but by Sunday, the cold front will make its way down into the lower lakes and the Midwestern regions. Behind that, temperatures will struggle to get out of the 20s up here into the Dakotas, Minnesota, and the Northwoods of Wisconsin, even up here into northern lower Michigan, the UP of Michigan as well. Then going into early next week, you're waking up for work, school, just running any errands out there on Monday morning. Look at these low temperatures. Yes, teens and 20s all the way across the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, the Northeast here on your Monday morning, and even some wind out there to add insult to injury. Those wind chill values to start your Monday morning could be down into the single digits above zero and the teens across much of the northern tier of the United States. And then going into Tuesday morning, a lot of that colder air shifting east through the Ohio Valley. And look at the freezing line here, folks. Getting all the way down toward the Atlanta area, 32, 33 degrees on your Tuesday morning. Could have a hard freeze down there into Tennessee, northern Alabama, northern Georgia, and the western Carolinas going into Tuesday morning time frame. And look at those wind chills down into the upper 20s for Atlanta there as we go into Tuesday morning. So watch out for that vegetation across the deep southeast areas. Going through the middle of next week into the following weekend, the 20th of March through the 24th, we're going to continue to see more troughs across portions of the northern United States. This is going to act to drive more cold air further south, especially for southern Canada, but the lower 48 here into the United States will likely be observing some below normal temperatures during this period of time. And also still some active weather. A lot of the United States at least slightly above average precipitation, with the highest areas of above average across the deep south and through Dixie Alley, the southeast, but especially Florida down here, been very wet in this El Nino pattern. That does continue through the middle and end of next week and the following weekend. And we got to watch this on the northern side of these storm tracks as we move through that time frame. Could be seeing enough cold air coming south, just marginally so. All you need is maybe the 20s, low 30s, mid 30s even for some snowfall potential out there. The Rockies certainly getting in on some of that snow, the Cascades, the Sierras out west, but also potentially the Dakotas, maybe Nebraska, Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, and then maybe interior New England again into those areas into Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and upstate New York. We'll be watching that. Overall, the potential storm track from Wednesday the 20th through Sunday the 24th time frame will take it from the Four Corners region up through the Central Plains and into the Great Lakes. On the northern side of these storm tracks, snow will be possible here into the blue. On the southern side, we'll have to watch out for some heavy rain potential, especially in the darker green areas from southern Virginia through eastern Tennessee here in Alabama, through the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida here. Potentially even some severe weather during this time frame as well. We'll definitely keep an eye on that. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Consider hitting the subscribe button down below for more of these weather updates to come throughout 2024. Make sure to press the thumbs up, the like button down below. It helps to get all of this information passed along to more and more people. I am Hunter with Weather on the Go, and I'll see you all in the next video.